All right, guys, so we've got I got two hackamores and a little Bosalito here. They've all been shaped, but I want to talk to you guys about the importance and how you're going to go about shaping your Bosals. With your Bosals, this is not how they normally show up. They actually show up a little more triangular to where you'll notice that this has a bit of a curve in it right now, but they usually show up where they're more like that. And the nose button is a little wider and they come straight out. Well, now that I'm pointing this out, you're probably going, well, that's not really going to fit my horse too well. And it's just the way that they're braided. So it's when you first get your hackamore, you want to do a little bit of planning ahead. You don't want to just buy your hackamore and go stick it on your horse, because you might rub them up underneath their chin, because this comes out very triangular like that. So how do we get our hackamore to fit the shape of our horse? Well, it's really important because we want this to be a snug fit. We want this to fit right around their nose, just like you'd be fitting a nice, good fitting pair of boots. And so it's not super tight and it's not super loose. We don't want gaps between our horse's nose and the nose button. And so we've got to really work with this piece of equipment to help it fit our horse. And so how do we go about doing that? Well, you can either use a can of beans from your closet, or you can go out and actually buy a piece of wood. We've got a couple of different jugs of supplements that are good size. They're about the same size as this shaping block that I've actually fixed, because I've got these three that I try to keep shaped up. So I actually have this shaping block that I got and bought from a mentor of mine that I got to start some colts with at Kit Fladland. You can get these shaping blocks from him. And essentially what it is a piece of leather and the block that is shaped to help you get your hackamore in the best shape. So what it's doing is it's widening the bars of this hackamore to help better fit the shape of your horse's face. This is a 12.5-inch hackamore, so it's a pretty big, and so it was really, really wide up top, and it had too much space in between the horse's the nose and the shape of the horse. So we actually pulled this in and used the hanger to close this up, and then used our shaping block to get this. And I can go ahead and show you guys how we attach this, because I wouldn't have known had I didn't go spend a couple of weeks riding at Kip's place, and we spent a few evenings putting these things together for people. And so I'm going to take this off and I'll show you guys how to get this set up. And so what we've got is, you can figure that I'm not going to undo the top part, but this, like I was saying before, this came very triangular, and this is a pretty big hackamore. So what we do is we end up taking this shaping block and fitting it between the bars of this hackamore, and I push it down towards the base of the pineapple knot, or the heel knot here, and so that we widen the bars at the bottom. And now this piece of leather has already started to go to what would be y'all's right. And so I take this around the back and I go high first, and I'm pulling this pretty tight, because you got to figure when you first buy your hackamore, it's going to shaped out like a V. So you're going to kind of have to work with it a little bit. And so I go up high first, come back around the front and across the top, right above the little screw eye there, back around the back, and then down below the little screw. And I just wrap this about 3 or 4 times. I got about 3 wraps on the front. I'll show you guys about 4 wraps going on the back. And I take the end of this piece of leather and run it between the bar of the hackamore and the block, and you kind of just push it up, and it'll eventually make its appearance up here. And this will keep it tight. So now I've got my shaping block, my hackamore shaping block, or my Bosal shaping block attached up. And because rawhide's essentially, it's got some life to it, it's going to eventually start to hold this shape. And so when I go to store them, you want to store them in you don't want to store them in a sunlight or a place that's going to get super hot. That's something that's going to tear your Bosal up. It'll just degrade the rawhide over a period of time. Is anything that gets it really hot and sweaty, or gets it water and heat will destroy these things faster than anything. So I try to keep it in a place that's going to stay dry and it's not going to be in direct sunlight. And so we keep it in our tack room, and then I hang it from a hook with the heel knot up. And so then I just leave it there like that. And I've done the same things, like I said before. You can use one of these Hackamore shaping blocks, or you can find something that's about the similar width of this Hackamore shaping block, and you can simply take when you do these heel knots, we just simply wrap this latigo around here and half hitch it into the nose band, or to the nose button, and so that it holds that shape, so that when you go to put, per se, like we've used some supplement bottles that were just laying around and empty, that when you push them in here and it starts to spread, you can see how when I put my hand in here, I can spread the bars of this Hackamore with my hand, that it gives some tension. Otherwise, if you put something in here and you don't have this tight, it'll just slide back. And so you want to make sure your Hackamore shaped, because you want to, it's got to fit your horse. And when you first get your Hackamore, or excuse me, your Bosal, it's going to look triangular, like I said, and it's not going to fit your horses. And so when you go, and we'll have a video here in a second that you guys will go to next, that we'll talk about how to make sure it properly fits your horse. But that's really important, is to make sure that you plan ahead. You can shape these over a course of a couple of days and then go use them, but then you want to go back, take your reins off, put them back in the shaping block and leave them hanging, because it's going to take several weeks for these Hackamores to start holding shape to where you can reliably, because just even this Hackamore's only been shaped for, oh gosh, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks. It's holding some shape, obviously, while we're talking about it, but if I just left it be for a while, it could eventually start to return, because it's kind of like your memory foam mattress. It'll eventually just go back to the way it was. So that's a little bit on how to get your Hackamore shaped up, and hope you guys find that helpful. Now we're going to get into how to actually make sure it fits your horse properly.